to Trust Talks with BBB serving CT. I'm Kristen Johnson. In business, trust talks, and Better Business Bureau's mission is to enhance marketplace trust. In each episode of our program, we hope to give you a better idea of what to expect, what to look for, and what to look out for, so that you can spend your money wisely and avoid being scammed. Last year, Better Business Bureau received more than 100,000 inquiries from consumers about window cleaning companies, ranking it in the top 5% of all types of businesses. The industry also enjoyed one of the lowest levels of complaints in 2021. BBB research shows that when consumers do their research, they tend to be less likely to file a complaint. So how can you tell the real from the fake or the less reputable? Kevin O'Rourke is the president of the board of directors for Better Business Bureau, also happens to own a window cleaning company, Fish Window Cleaning, out of Wallingford. So he's going to break it all down for us, kind of explain what we need to look for, what questions we need to ask. Kevin, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are not only an expert in the industry of window cleaning, but you also appreciate and understand advancing marketplace trust and the importance of that. So I think you'll be a great asset today for our conversation.
Great.
So let's start with the first question. Whenever it's nice out, it seems like we often get knocks at the door from contractors, be it window washing or gutter cleaning, that are offering to do an inspection, maybe wash your windows. These are unsolicited knocks at the door. Mm-hmm. Is that a red flag, or is that common in your industry?
I think it's more of a red flag, quite honestly, because honestly, right now, this time of year, most of my competitors, we're all busy. We don't have to go out looking for work, knocking on doors like that.
So what questions should consumers be asking if they do get that unsolicited knock at the door?
They should be asking, are they insured? Are they bonded? What their experience is. I mean, That's a basic question, but yeah.
How many years they've been in the business?
How many years you've been in business?
Are there certain industry groups that you might want to ask them if they're a member of?
So there are a couple of industry groups. The International Association of Window Cleaners, that is one. That's a national organization, which has standards and has safety programs for anybody going into the business. And then, of course, nowadays there's social media, and there is a lot of social media window cleaning groups, and you can get some good news and some bad news from some of those,
So you mentioned insurance. Why is it important to ask them if they have insurance?
Because what if something goes wrong? Who is going to pay for that? Do they have workers' comp? If somebody were to, say, fall off a ladder, is the company going to be responsible for it, or is the homeowner or business owner going to be responsible for that? And they always go after the person with the deepest pockets, so to speak. So the first person, if you have insurance, that's going to go first. Any
other documentation that you should ask for?
Well, there's no licensing requirements in the state of Connecticut for window cleaners, so you don't have to have that. So pretty much, do they have insurance?
Okay. We've also heard of bad actors preying on the elderly, whether it's in window cleaning or anything else. Contractors, they'll ask for access inside their home, maybe ask to go to the bathroom, and then they end up burglarizing their home. With this type of work, with window cleaning, is there any reason why they would need to come inside your house?
Yeah, we need to come. If you want us to clean the inside of your windows, we need to come inside your house. That's why it's important to know if the company is insured and bonded. So, I mean, we do background checks on all of our employees. We do safety training with our employees. But it's almost impossible to follow our employees from room to room to room. You have to have a certain amount of trust in the company that you're hiring.
Okay. I have to be honest, I've owned my home for 6 years. I've never once cleaned the windows. Why is it important to clean your windows?
Well, you want to see clearly. You want to be able to see out the windows clearly. Over time, also, the dirt and the grime, and when it rains out, the water that gets on the glass has dirt in it, and when that dries on the glass over time, it will get baked onto the glass. Oh. So if the longer you wait, the harder it is to get it clean. Also, it potentially could damage, so that could get etched into the glass, and so it doesn't come out perfect again.
Do you also clean the screens?
Yeah, we wipe down the screens, we wipe down the sills, we put it all back together again.
So how often should you get your windows cleaned?
You should get them cleaned, so as a homeowner,
yeah,
you should get them cleaned at least once a year.
Okay. in a business? Businesses tend to do it more often?
Yeah, businesses, it depends on the business. So restaurants tend to go more frequently. Quite often they go weekly because you have the atmosphere in a restaurant with cooking and you have little fingers that are on, want to touch the glass and that kind of stuff. Other businesses, it depends.
Okay. What time of year is best to get your windows cleaned?
Residential, there's two trains of thought. Some customers prefer the spring. I have another equally large group of customers that prefer the fall. So that's a personal preference. If you like the spring, I would wait till after the pollen keeps on falling, right? Which pushes it to like sometime in June.
Okay. Okay. And so what kind of equipment should the contractor be using? What should we be looking for when they come?
So if someone comes up to your house and they pull out a jar of Windex or a can of Windex and paper towels, you don't want it. They're not a professional, right? A window cleaning professional will use a window cleaner's mop and a squeegee. Also, newer technology that's come out now, we use the same technology as a spot-free car wash. Oh, wow. So we can deliver purified water to your windows through the system. We use either a reverse osmosis or a deionized system. So we deliver pure water to your windows and to a brush head, and we can brush the glass. It loosens up all the dirt, and then we rinse it, and it dries spot-free. Also, but using that, we don't have to use ladders. We have poles that extend up long enough.
I know it depends on the size of the building, but on average, how long does a window cleaning take at an average residential home?
2 to 3 hours. We usually send 2 cleaners out, and so it'll take 2 to 3 hours, average house.
Okay. So you also do gutter cleaning and pressure washing, and I understand there can be some pretty pricey consequences if you don't clean out your gutters.
So yeah, if you don't clean your gutters, what can happen over time is that, first of all, the gutters get all clogged up, and the water, instead of being directed out the way you want the gutters to go, it goes just over the top. So you could have water coming into your basement.
Wow.
If you don't take care of it. In the winter, you could have ice dams that start because the water has no place to go.
Oh, yikes. So how do you know when it's time to get your gutters cleaned? Should you get up on that ladder and inspect them every so often?
So it depends on your home. Okay, are there trees all around your house? Are there trees that are standing over your house? That's one thing. If there are, then you should do it at least every fall after the leaves finish falling. Some people wait till the spring. I would recommend you do it in the fall because that way the gutters are clean going into the winter and less chance for ice dams.
Okay, so if someone knocks on your door and again they're like, we'll give you a free gutter inspection, should you let them up on that ladder?
I probably wouldn't, no.
No.
I mean, again, what's your liability if something were to happen?
So, yeah, I've heard stories. There was a woman in Connecticut who had started as a free gutter inspection, then turned out they were saying she needed a new roof. So it escalated quite quickly.
Yeah, that could happen.
If the contractor is trying to sell you, gutter guards or new gutters, how do you know whether to take their word for it? How do you know if it's necessary?
Well, nowadays with phones and stuff, if you bring someone in to do that kind of work or to give you that kind of estimate, and you call them, and they get up there, they could take a picture, right? They could take a picture and show you, so that when you get up, when they come down, you'll be able to tell if it's your house. You should be able to recognize that factor, and you can see, are the gutters clean? Are they not clean? That would be one way I would recommend if you're thinking about that. Yeah.
And the more trees you have, the more likely you'll have debris in those gutters, and the more often you will have to get them cleaned.
Yeah.
Okay. What about pressure washing? What should we know about that?
So pressure washing. So there's 2 things going on now in the industry. So it's pressure washing and then soft washing. Both of them are to clean your siding. So vinyl siding, for instance, tends to get a lot of dirt, and then the north side of the house, depending on how much shade you have, turns green. Okay. So by cleaning it, you keep your house looking better. And if it's wood siding, that algae and that stuff that's growing on the side of the house, that could start eating into the wood. Same thing with your roof. If you have moss and stuff growing on your roof, that starts eating into your roof shingles. Oh. So you don't want that to happen.
So, and again, you can judge that by your eye. You can see, okay, my house is looking a little dirty. I need to get a pressure wash.
Yeah. You don't need an expert to tell you that.
So why should you hire a professional? Because I know you can rent pressure washers and do it yourself.
You can, but we're professionals. So we do this all the time. So for instance, I can do some minor carpentry. It might take me all day to do it, and it's probably not done right when I'm done. Our people are trained on it. We come out and do this on a regular basis, and that's what we do. We know how to do it. The equipment, we know how to use the equipment. If you're renting a pressure washer for the first time, pressure washers could have, they are what they are. They're high pressure, so using 4,000 PSI, what happens if you hit your foot, or if you hit a window, or if you hit something else? You could damage it.
Okay. Is it reasonable for them to quote you a higher price because of the presence of algae or difficult to remove stains?
Is it reasonable? Not necessarily. You have to know what I would talk to the company and see what they're doing and why they're doing it. Are they doing it because, is it reasonable? Is it reasonable to ask a company for references? I would ask them for references as to why, and get that kind of information. There's some chemistry involved with all of it, but it's the equipment and the tools. You're paying for some of that.
Are special cleaning solutions just a gimmick or a ploy to bump up the bill?
No, they're not.
They're the real deal.
They're really real deal. So gutter cleaning, for instance, when we talk about gutter cleaning, we're talking about cleaning the inside of the gutters, but on the face of the gutters, lots of times you'll see black lines, and that's to get them off. For cleaning the inside of the gutters makes them function properly. Cleaning the outside of the gutters makes it look nice. That's a different process. And it is, you have to get up on the gutters, you have to wipe them all down. It's a whole different thing.
And there's 2 different ways of pressure washing a house these days, correct?
Right, so you could do pressure washing, like I mentioned, or you could do soft wash. So soft wash is more of a chemical thing. Okay. Pressure washing is kind of falling out of favor for siding because you're driving water, and you potentially could drive water behind the siding, which could create black mold. So insurance companies are really shying away from that. Oh. Soft washing, you're using basically the same pressure as you would for a garden hose, which isn't going to drive that kind of.
And do most companies do both, or is that something we should be asking? Do you have options?
I'd ask them for options. No, it's a newer technology, or it's a newer process.
So what question do you get asked the most from customers?
We get asked about our insurance. Mm-hmm. We get asked if we're bonded. We get asked if we do background checks on our employees, because someone wants to be comfortable who's coming into their home. We get asked what our experience is, how many years we've been in business, how we're going to do it. What
other questions should they be asking?
They should ask all those questions to start with, Ask for references. Ask, you can go onto the BBB site and see if they have what their rating is. You can go on to online other sites and see what kind of rating that particular company has.
Kevin, what's the one thing you wish your customers or prospective customers knew ahead of time before hiring you?
I don't know. The one thing, I'm not so sure I could say the one thing, but what I would, they're hiring a professional, so I think that's what they have to understand. They're hiring a professional, and sometimes they're surprised at how long or how short a time it takes us to do the work. Again, using me as a carpenter, if I'm going to do something as a carpenter, it might take me half the day, where a professional carpenter can come in and do it in a very short period of time. That's what I.
So if you're out of there quicker than they thought, they're worried that it didn't get completely clean.
Right. But they could see the results of that, and we always ask our cleaners to ask the homeowner to take a walk through with us before we leave, to make sure that they're happy with the work.
You talked about the fact that you do work outside and inside. So imagine that this industry was impacted by the pandemic. Did you have to change your business model at all during the pandemic?
We didn't have to change the business model. Because what we do is we clean windows, so there's really not a lot to change for that. Mm-hmm. But we were impacted severely by that, because while cleaning is in our name, window cleaning was never essential for anyone but me. But so we do a lot of retail. Retail closed down, so that was a big hit to our work. Homeowners didn't want us in their homes, and we weren't sure if we wanted to go in their homes. So when the pandemic hit, it was coming into our busy season, and all of a sudden everything went away. We had to lay off the majority of our employees for a few months until we started bringing them back. And then, then we were using the same precautions as everyone else. We were wearing masks when we went into homes. We were keeping our distance. Whatever the customer wanted to be comfortable, we were trying to do.
And now with this lingering inflation, are you getting a negative impact again from this economy?
Well, costs have gone up. So some of the costs for the chemicals we use in soft wash went up over 20% last fall. And that's something that we just cannot absorb. So unfortunately, we have to raise our prices not to make more money, but just to stay in business.
And so many companies are going through that right now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's difficult. Are you worried that people are going to say, okay, window washing maybe not, or cleaning may not be a priority right now. I need to save some money before the economy
Yeah, I mean, window
gets
cleaning
worse.
is a discretionary.
Yeah.
It's discretionary spending. You don't have to get your windows cleaned. If you never get them cleaned, that's up to you. You can clean them yourself. It might take you longer, and you can clean them yourself, though. So yeah, it's discretionary. It could, if things keep on going that way, it could definitely impact our business negatively.
You can only raise your prices so high, right?
Right.
So how long have you been accredited with Better Business Bureau?
We've been accredited for 16 of our 17 years.
Wow.
And that's because you used to have to be in business for a year before they would accredit you.
Okay.
So yeah.
So right away, you pretty much saw the value of accreditation. What do you get out of accreditation?
Customers know that we are not just a fly-by-night company. The Better Business Bureau does a huge amount of investigating you before they give you accreditation. So they check out your website, they check out your advertising, they check out if you have all the proper licenses or insurances, and they look at that over every year.
We talk so much about trust from a consumer's perspective, but as a business owner, why do you value trust in the marketplace?
Well, I look at it from both sides. I'm also a consumer. So, I want the customers and anybody that we do business with to trust us and to know that we're professionals. So in my business, we actually compete with homeless people. We compete with, you go downtown any metropolitan area, there's going to be someone cleaning the windows, and they might clean the windows for $5 or whatever. It's hard to compete with. But we're insured, we're bonded. If anything happens, it falls on us. We're responsible.
And if you look for that seal, that Better Business seal, then this is a business that
that we're real. And that's what I really wanted with our business. When I went into business, I wanted to show that we're more than just somebody with a mop and a squeegee. We are a real business. We're somebody that you can trust, that when you call us, you're going to get a company, not just a guy or somebody with a squeegee.
Kevin, thank you so much for giving your perspective to us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Kevin ORourke of Fish Window Cleaning out of Wallingford. If someone comes to your door unsolicited offering a free inspection or service, check their ID. Then call the company to see if they really work for that business. Also, ask for proof of insurance. Look out for unbelievably low pricing. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. If the contractor insists on payment up front and in cash, that's also a red flag. Resist the pressure to act fast. Ask them to leave their business card and tell them you'll call them back sometime later. This gives you a chance to check them out. Go to their website, see if they're registered, and also speak with your neighbors to get recommendations. Checking a business's profile before entering into a contract or spending money can help avoid a negative experience or dispute. Consumers can read details about customer satisfaction, complaint patterns, file a complaint, or submit a customer review on our website. Always look for the BBB seal. It's the sign of a better business, and you can find a better business at bbb.org. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time for Trust Talks.